Hello knitters, Barbara Benson here. I am an independent knitwear designer who also likes to make these videos for my YouTube channel, Watch Barbara Knit. If you are interested in seeing more about my knitting patterns or possibly purchasing one for you to knit for your own self, please check in the description below where you will find a link to my Ravelry designer page. And there you can get digital downloads of the patterns that I have designed. And if you own a yarn store or go to a local yarn store and they like paper patterns, you can also check the description for a link to where you can purchase, if you are a yarn store, wholesale paper patterns from my distributors, Stitch Sprouts. Today, we are doing a vlog. I just have lots of exciting stuff to talk about. I don't have anything like specific. It's just all this kind of crazy stuff that's been going on since Wisconsin Sheep and Wool. I went up, and I think it's almost 2 weeks ago. It's crazy how much stuff has happened in just the last couple weeks. I went with my friend Gail Evans, who is the dyer behind Gail's Art, and we drove up to Wisconsin Sheep and Wool and attended that. I actually had all my stuff out on display and had paper patterns, and it was just so much fun. I super enjoyed it. I enjoyed meeting all the awesome people in Wisconsin, and I ate cheese curds, which are delicious and should be everywhere. And I did all kinds of fun stuff. There were amazing vendors there, and I got to visit some old friends and make some new friends in the yarny kind of stuff. When I go to these things, I'm kind of strict with myself about what I buy, because I would just buy everything, and I can't do that because I have enough yarn right now and I have stuff, so I have to pick and choose. But I did actually fall down and purchase something I'm quite excited about. Looky there. I bought a pin loom. I have no idea how to use it. If you guys want me to, I can make videos of me learning how to use it, because I got no idea what I'm doing. This is a hazel rose loom. Isn't it pretty? It's handmade in the United States, and it came with a little booklet that hopefully will tell me how to use it, because I've never done anything like this. And it came with, it's taped to the inside, a little tool that I assume is somehow involved with making this do things. So look forward to seeing either really excited or kind of frustrated posts on this in the future when I figure out how to use it, because there's something, I saw all these tiny little things, there's something really exciting about this idea of learning a completely new craft that I've never done before at age, that is one thing that happened during the last 2 weeks. I had my birthday. So I am now officially 43. There's 4 and 3, I don't know which. The camera turns things around, so I'm either 34 or 43, depending on how this is going to do. But yes, I had a birthday. I'm 43 years old. And I'm excited about learning something new, because when you stop learning, you kind of stop growing. And I want to try something new. The other big thing that happened in the last couple weeks is that I released a pattern collection. And I wanted to chat a little bit about what is a pattern collection. This is my very first pattern collection. I've never done one before. And the way my process normally works is that I start with a yarn and start swatching, or I have an idea and I start trying to match the yarn with the idea. But I am very project monogamous. I start working on something, and from like idea conception, once I start knitting on it, I'm very mono-focused on getting it done, because if I allow myself to become distracted, it's like, woo, shiny, and I can't focus and it'll never get done. So I have to be like bang, 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 bang. So last summer, I was contacted by the amazing people at Malabrigo, and they wanted to know if I would want to participate in their Malabrigo freelance pattern project, which is where they have a designer and they supply the yarn, and then I get to independently, it's my creative vision. I do all the photography, I do all the tech editing, I do all the distribution. They're just offering support to me as an independent designer, and I think that's fabulous. And they asked if I wanted to do one. I was like, yes, I'm very excited. I've always wanted to do one. And then I'm like, I have to do it. So the first hurdle was to select what yarn I want. Well, actually, I had an idea already, and it's an idea that had been percolating for a while. So then I had to figure out the yarn, and looking at all the different bases and all the different colors available for Malabrigo, it's just paralyzed for choice. So many different beautiful things. But I narrowed things down, and then that was new for me, to be picking out yarn that wasn't just this yarn is going to work in this pattern, but that the yarns hold together as a collection. I wanted to have a variety of bases at a variety of weights and a variety of projects. So it was like a little tiny magazine or little collection of patterns that went together well. So the concept was, what can you do with a 2-stitch repeat? This started percolating, if you want to know how long ago it was, this started percolating with Mapes, which is years ago, because the center panel on Mapes is even, and I wanted to come up with 2-stitch repeat that would fit in there easily. And pro tip, if you get 1-stitch 2-stitch, the stitches in 1-stitch 2-stitch will work in Mapes. First time I've mentioned that to anybody, but it's been percolating since then. And then the Malabrigo was like the kicking behind that I needed to actually make this happen, because I had this thing about what can you do with 2 stitches, and then I came up with the name, which amazingly enough, me coming up with names is sometimes like the whole snowball behind something. I sometimes have the name for an extended period of time before I ever have the pattern. I just know this is an awesome name and I want to name something this. And so the name of this collection, it's an ebook, is called 1-Stitch 2-Stitch, because I like being funny. Like, I amuse myself. So it's all Dr. Seuss themed. And so it's 1-Stitch 2-Stitch, and then I did a subtitle. It's a mini stitch dictionary for mini stitches. It has, and then I swatched. And when I say I swatched, I swatched. I did all of these swatches. So swatch, and then swatch. I did all of these swatches, and all of these swatches have one thing in common. Well, 2 things. One, they're all done in Arroyo, but the repeats, their seed stitch, are only 2 stitches wide. Now, some of them, stuck in it. Some of them are 2 stitches, 2 rows, and some of them are 2 stitches, 4 rows. And I had to keep it to 4 rows. There are also 6 and 8, and it's amazing when it comes down to it and you start looking how many 2-stitch pattern repeats there are. But I love this one. When I went over 4 rows, things started getting a little more complicated, because the other big thing behind this is the collection, and here's 1x1 ribbing, 2 stitches, is that, if you look back here, I wanted there are 4 patterns, and I wanted them all to be recipe patterns, where the way the pattern is written, you can take the stitches from the stitch dictionary, which there are a total of 14, but 2 of them can only be worked flat. So they can't all be put in, but I couldn't, the 2 flat ones were so pretty I couldn't not put them in. So you can take any of the stitches and put them into the pattern. So the way the pattern's written is blah, 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 insert your stitch here, blah, blah, blah. They're very easy patterns. I really tried to make sure they were as straightforward and simple as possible. The most complex of the patterns is for the hat, and that is only because I had to line by line describe the top decrease, which that's kind of part of a hat. I couldn't get away from that, but otherwise they're very simple. So this is the hat, and I went with all Dr. Seuss themed. This is No Pat No from Hop on Pop. And so what you would do is pick out the stitch you want and just stick it in this panel, and this is in Malabrigo Twist. Then there is this cowlette, which is called Ring the Gack, which is from One Fish, Two Fish, and it's knit entirely in the round, and the only increases are right here in the front. So again, you just pick out your stitch and you knit. This is in Rios. And then we have a shawl, because I can't not do a shawl. And this is called On Mulberry Street, and is gorgeous in Mora silk. It is 100% silk, and this takes 3 50-gram skeins, but it's so beautiful. Yeah, I'm a goofball. And it's cool because it starts at this point down here and increases, and then it starts decreasing, and you get this super, super, super long tail that's really easy to wear. I'm going to throw her back up here. And then I have a scarf. The scarf is called Salamisande. And this one, it's got a cable selvage. This is worked in Micha, which is a bulky. It's got the cable selvage, and then you put the stitch in the middle. I'm going to link to I did a pattern tour for this, so I'll link to that so you can see more details. I don't want to go, I've already been talking about this for a while. But so I had to do that. I had to release that collection, and I'm so excited about it. So I'll put a link to it in the description of where you can get it. It's available both as an ebook, which you get all the stitches and the patterns and line by line instructions to make the exact patterns like this. And then they are also available individually, but for that you only get like the exact instructions to make. You don't get all the extra stitches. You just get this stitch. You get to make this. So that was 1 stitch, 2 stitch. So that just got done, and I'm super excited, but off to other things. If you had any interest in seeing these patterns and being able to put your grubby little mitts on it, I will be doing a trunk show this weekend. I want to talk to you guys about that. It is at Yarn Junkees. I will put the details in the description. It is in, I know I pronounce it wrong, Hoschton, Georgia, which is just outside of Chateau-Lawn. It's closer to the South Carolina border than I am, but it's not that terribly far. So if you live in the Atlanta, northern Georgia, upstate South Carolina, South Carolina, please come and see me. It's this Sunday, October 2nd at 2 o'clock, I believe. Again, check the details. And I will be taking all of these new patterns, and I will be bringing a whole box full of my samples. So if you ever wanted to see the actual things, the actual pieces, as opposed to just looking at photographs, now is your opportunity. And this leads me into something else I wanted to talk about. I wanted to talk about local yarn stores. I am doing this trunk show because, yes, I want to show off, my stuff, and I love talking to knitters and being able to talk to them about what I do and get ideas of what they want. But I also feel very, very strongly about the need to support our local yarn stores. Local yarn stores are unique in that it is a place where you can go and, yes, you can buy yarn and notions and books and all the fabulous things that we need to practice our craft. But local yarn stores are also a community. They're a place where you can make friends with other knitters. They're a place where you can take classes and improve your skills. And they're just such a crucial part of the entire knitting industry that I really want to do whatever I can to support them, because I mean, every yarn store I know it's a small, independently owned business, usually owned by a woman, but not always. And I want to support them. I want to encourage this. It's part of our community and it's part of our knitting community. I want to make sure that I make it clear that I am not attempting to guilt anyone for buying anything online, because I buy all kinds of stuff online. But I don't do that exclusively. I also know that online sources are really great for people who don't have a local yarn store in their community or within easy driving distance. And really, if you talk to any of those people who don't have access to a local yarn store, you will find it's a very sad situation when you don't have a local yarn store, because they're just fantastic. So I'm doing this trunk show because I want to support this new yarn store. And I love doing trunk shows, and will do one if it's within a reasonable driving distance. I am totally there. I will do my best to get around this area. And when I travel, like when I went down to Florida with my to visit my mother, I talked to them and I brought a trunk show to the Sarasota. And hopefully I found, last time I was down there, more Sarasota area, so it's Tampa. And I'm hopefully will be able to plan trunk shows with other trips. So if you own a yarn store and you're in an area where you think I might want to take a trip, please feel free to shoot me an email. But I can't get everywhere. I'm excited about this Yarn Junkees trunk show and can't wait to meet all the fabulous knitters. But I can't go everywhere. I can't drive to Oregon. I can't drive anywhere. So I have developed something that I hope might be a resource for local yarn store owners. So if you know somebody who owns a yarn store, or you go to one, which I hope you do, you might want to mention to them. I have developed, and I'm going to put a little picture up, what I call the local yarn store knit along support program. And what I would like to do is offer a yarn store, any yarn store, who wants to do a knit along with one of my patterns, a support package where I will help them. I will send them photographs so they can use it in all of their, they can put it on their website, they can put it in their newsletter. I'll send them photographs of the piece that they're wanting to knit. If they need to knit a sample for their store, I will gift them the pattern through Ravelry, because I know that they have to invest time and effort in making the sample. If I will send them, I will help them develop like a promotional paragraph. So again, to use on their website, that will explain if they need help with what a knit along is, or if they just want a paragraph about who I am, or if they want me to write a paragraph about the design, I can do that. And so they can have copy for any of the advertising or any of the informational stuff they want to send out. I have it written down over here, which is why I keep looking over here. And then if they email me, I will be happy to consult with them via email about what yarns that they carry would be appropriate in the pattern they've chosen. And if they have a Ravelry presence, I will be happy to participate in a knit along thread if they put one up on their Ravelry group. And I wrote all this stuff up because these are things that I have done, some of all of them, bits and pieces. When someone on Ravelry emails me and says, hey, we want to do a knit along with one of your patterns, is that okay? I'm like, yes, you totally can do a knit along with one of my patterns, because that's fabulous. Knit alongs are such a wonderful way to build community and for knitters to come together and build skills together. And so this is simply a codification of what I have done. This is saying here, these are the things that I can do to help you have a successful knit along. So if you own a local yarn store, or if you know someone, I will put a link in the description where they can go to. I put a informational thing on my website where you can actually go and look at it and see all the things, and there's a contact form, and they can email me and we can get the ball rolling. And I would love to help yarn stores in this. It's my way of trying to do this when I can't drive to Nevada. But I will say one time, one yarn store has taken me up on this, and it was so much fun. I actually made a online appearance. They brought an iPad and we FaceTimed, and it was like one of those knit-alongs where it was like multiple meetings. And at the last one, where they had their projects mostly done, they passed me around on an iPad and I said hi. And so it was a virtual way of being there. So if you're technologically savvy, we could probably even work something out like that. So I wanted to mention this Ravelry Local Yarn Store program knit along support in case anybody out there is interested, because I want for yarn stores to succeed, because they're a huge and integral part of the entire knitting industry, and they make new knitters, and I want new knitters to knit my patterns. So it's not completely altruistic, but it is what I'm hoping to do. So I talked about one stitch, two stitch. I talked about Yarn Junkees. I talked about Wisconsin sheep and wool, my new pin loom, and I got, so last week I posted a new video, and when I was posting it, it just came to me, and the name of it, I called it Swatch Lab. And it's codifying. I've mentioned it a couple times. I did it with the Katlana from Barocco, where I like to swatch and figure things out. And now I'm calling it Swatch Lab because it's a way for me to play with swatches. And so if you like those videos, you can look at them. I have a video that I need to make. I've been going through a process, and I want you to see this swatch. When I swatch, I swatch. So this is Knit Picks. This is the purple version. Mighty Stitch Super Bulky. And it took an entire skein. I swatched the entire skein because why not? Now it is super bulky, and in my defense, there's 44 yards. But I took up the whole swatch to do this. And it is 80% acrylic, and so there was some blocking experiments. So look forward to that in an upcoming swatch lab. So is that everything? You can't see it and I can't show you, but I have a new shawl pattern pinned out over there that I need to steam, and this also has a new shawl in it that I am going to try to get ready by Rhinebeck. I hadn't planned on this, but you can't really see because it's a giant lump of not blockedness. And so when things aren't blocked, they just kind of look blah. But this is going to block out, and I'm super excited about it. And it should be ready for showing off at Rhinebeck, which I am going to Rhinebeck. If anybody's going to Rhinebeck, let me know in the comments, and maybe we can get together. That would be fantastic. So let me see if this hat fits me. See, there's my hat. Okay. Oh, you know what? We're just going to put on all the knitwear. This is probably going to mess up my microphone. I don't look good in cowls. It's just not. I have a little neck. And you probably can't hear me now. Now I'm just being silly. Okay, so that is my September vlog. I can't believe September is almost gone. And October is coming up, but October we'll see my Yarn Junkees trunk show and Rhinebeck, and I might go to SAF, and it's just like so much stuff. I'm so excited. I hope that your knitting October is going to be amazing. I will be sending out first Thursday of October a new newsletter. So if you haven't subscribed to my newsletter, check in the description. There'll be a link. And I will be recapping all the stuff that happened in September and giving spoilers of what's coming in October. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please click the like button, give me a thumbs up. And if you would like to be notified whenever I upload a new video, please subscribe to my channel. Thank you.